scan everybody first.
Oh, all right.
Alright, hello. This is my international informative speech on the Republic of Maldives. Now, as I go into my speech, this is just to give you a glimpse of the many fantastic features that this country has to offer. For example, imagine waking up in the morning to a beautiful view underwater as fish swim above you and you can see the sun peeking through the ocean waves. Here are some pictures, just to give you an example of what I mean by one of its many unique features. Now, geologically, this is a very unique island as well. You get from India to this country by a boat, mainly because there are no airplane strips due to the very small islands, because this is not a solid landmass. There are actually 26 atolls, which are coral formations, and there are 1,200 islands within this small grouping. Now, of those 1,200, only 200 of them are inhabited by people. Also, geologically, since it is just southwest of India, they are so isolated that it happens to be one of the safest places to travel. Along with that, it is also known to be one of the lowest points on the planet. So, just remember that throughout my speech. Some other unique factors going along with the people and the religion that just drew me in instantly would be that the entire country is accepted as Muslim, mostly. Now, only Muslims can be considered citizens, the only ones that can own land, and the only ones that can marry. Now, due to this very strange religion, they are the only ones, since they are the only ones that can marry, a lot of intermarriage happens. So, as we call it in the US, it's inbreeding for the most part. Sense of isolation as well. Many families can't go out and find other families to marry their children off to. Also, with the people, they are allowed to marry at the age of 18, just like us. However, a lot of them get married at the age of 15, which I find very strange. Along with that, men are allowed to have 4 wives if they can financially support them all. And women at the age of 30 happen to have been married and divorced 4 times already. That is actually one of the highest divorce rates on earth as well. And moving on from the people, more of the social and educational standpoint of this country, socially, it is more accepted to have more covering clothes rather than revealing. And that's just the only place you will actually find revealing clothing is at a resort, and that's mainly for the tourists. You won't see many indigenous people unclothed, which is a good thing at some times. Also, educationally, there are many different types of schooling that are on the islands. The primary schools there are 3 of them. There's the traditional religion, which are called Mekadabs. There is a Dahiv language, which is another style of religion teaching. And then there's the English language school at a primary level. On the secondary level, there are 2 parts. And the first part of the secondary is a 5-year program at a low-level education. And then they move on to the second part, which is a 2-year program at a higher level of education. Now, since this island is also still very underdeveloped and not able to give their students a very good education, a lot of the students have to study abroad and find higher level education there. But they are working on a university that is mainly based for science, which is something to look forward to with this country. now they have a very closed off system. So their main imports and exports are their exports are fish, and a lot of their diets also are due to fish, since that is the most accessible thing around, since everywhere is covered by ocean. With that, there are also the other main incomes for this country are shipping, tourism, which is I found to be surprising at a third level for income, and then trade within their countries and exporting their own goods as the fourth level of income. Their diets as well, since they have so many fish too, they also like to use coconut for everything, and as you know, that is an upcoming fad in the US here, is coconut is good to use for anything. So that's also very interesting to know. Just as an overall view of this country, I would definitely recommend this as a very highly sought after getaway or vacation spot, not as a permanent residence. I say this because, as I've gone over before, it is a very close-knit community, so due to their religion, if you do not have that religion, you're kind of an outcast, and you're only going to be known as a tourist. With that as well, geologically, it has a perk that it's so isolated that you find it to be the safest place to travel, so no worries if you ever go on a vacation. And then as another perk, it has so many islands that it's a new adventure every day. So if you ever love island hopping, that's something you can always do there. And last of all, just remember that it is the lowest point on the planet that is known for us right now. So just keep in mind that flooding and global warming is always a constant problem in this country. So it won't always be there to visit. Thank you. That is my speech.